Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. What's up, Unbroken Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Michael Unbroken podcast. My goal and company is to give you the tools to help you understand your past, get out of the vortex, and become the hero of your own story. This podcast is sponsored by thinkunbroken.com, and you can check out my new book, Think Unbroken: Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma. This podcast is not a substitute for mental health care, but instead think of it more as a companion where we're here to support each other and to grow. Each episode of the Michael Unbroken podcast is less than 10 minutes, though sometimes that does not happen. So hang out with me, stay tuned. If you have questions, if you want to have conversations with me, or you have information you want to share, reach out to me directly on social media at Michael Unbroken, or you can email me at michael@thinkunbroken.com. Enjoy this episode, my friend, and until next time, be unbroken. I don't think that it would be unfair for me to say that I'm a proponent of self-love. I have said it again and again that self-love is one of the key catalysts to creating change and healing in your life. And there's no question that when you take into consideration the idea that self-love comes from the self, that it has to start with you. I was thinking about this the other day, and it dawned on me that self-love, unfortunately, isn't enough. And what do I mean by that? I have been on a journey of self-love for really the entirety of my life, from childhood through my teens until now. And it really hit me hard the other day where I put this equation in my head and I thought to myself, okay, if self-love was enough to make me happy, then what about all the other things that I do? Where do those things sit? If self-love is the catalyst that creates change and makes me inspired and drives me and gets me out of bed in the morning and helps me with depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts, then why do I need anything else? And that's when I discovered something about myself that perhaps I knew, but really has come to light recently. And that is that self-love is not enough. You can love yourself in your entirety, but I don't think that's enough to get you to where it is that you want to go in life. And this is going to depend person to person. Not everyone wants to do what I do with my life. Not everyone seeks this idea or notion of greatness or support or changing other people's lives or impacting the world or any of those things. And that is totally okay. For me, however, I want to do those things. I want to be great because I challenge myself. It is my own innate drive that says, Michael, be great. And so because of that, and dissecting this idea of self-love recently, I've come to the conclusion that in order for me to do that, in order for me to be happy, to be healthy, to be content, to be loved, to love, to explore, to have all of these notions of what it is that it feels like to be a human being, I had to adapt and adopt other forms of, call it lifestyle, right? I had to hold myself accountable, and I think that's the number one thing. When I think about self-love, it is so important that you wake up in the morning, you put your feet on the ground, and you're good. That doesn't mean that you're great. It just means that you're good. Like, okay, I'm happy with how things are. This is something I need to change. And you are constantly doing an inventory. But I don't think that's enough, because if you really want to push and you want to become the best version of yourself, good is not good enough. And so this is for all my people who are seeking greatness or seeking a better understanding of who themselves are. You have to challenge yourself. You have to put yourself in excessively uncomfortable situations so that you can grow. And so what do I mean by that? Okay, let's look at a baseline of the start of my day. I am innately lazy, without question. And you're probably thinking to yourself, that's insane, Michael. You've written books and traveled the world and you have a podcast and workshops. I am so incredibly lazy. I cannot explain to you. I would much rather play video games all day long, eat pizza, drink coffee, and watch cartoons all night than spend 1 second recording a podcast or writing a book. This is not a joke. I am super lazy. However, because I hold myself to a higher standard of accountability and excellence, I refuse to let that be my reality. And that is so incredibly uncomfortable to me. There is nothing more uncomfortable to me than putting myself in a position of doing stuff that I don't want to do. And so this is one layer of it. Self-love to create what it is that you want is only one piece of the puzzle. And then is accountability. Are you willing to hold yourself more accountable than you ever have before by doing things that are uncomfortable? You see, we are constantly in this state of frame where we go about life nonchalantly and wonder why nothing changes. Because growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. You've seen the memes, you've read the blog posts, you've listened to me say this before, but I really want to hit this home. Growth does not happen in your comfort zone. You have to be willing to step out. You have to be willing to go a little bit harder. You have to be willing to say, you know what? Today is the day that I'm going to do that thing that I do not want to do. And then from there, you get into this thing called consistency. And I won't lie, I battle with consistency because I'm a very black and white person. Like, it is either all on or all off. And I think consistency sometimes falls into the gray area. And what I mean by that is when I'm heads down and I've made a decision and I go at it at full force, unparalleled, there's nothing that will ever stop me from reaching my goal. But when I get myself in a situation where it's like, okay, this goal isn't immediate, I don't have to do this right now, I can kind of do this whenever I want to, I fall off and things don't get done. This podcast is a perfect example of that. Here we are at 8 months into this podcast. I've posted 12, 13 episodes. That's because like creating consistency for me is built around the things that matter the most. And as I move forward, I want to make this podcast be one of those things that matter the most. The book is finished, the website's up, the things are happening in my life, right? So now I have accountability and I'm working on consistency, knowing that that is what it takes. That's what it's actually going to take to get to the next level, consistency. And even though it's awfully uncomfortable, right? Consistency is uncomfortable for me. That is how I grow. That is how I change. So you have self-love, you have accountability, you have being uncomfortable, you have consistency. But we have to talk about reward. This is an area that I don't remember really anyone ever discussing in any literature that I've read recently, in any blog posts, on any podcast, and we are missing the fucking boat on this. We have got to reward ourselves for the amazing things that we do. And whether that is just getting on your shoes and walking around the block, or whether it's you showed up to work on time, or you had that hard conversation, you have to be able to put yourself, even if it's just saying thank you to yourself for showing up for you, you've got to reward yourself. And I'm guilty of this too. I certainly don't do it enough. And I look at a lot of the things that I'm doing right now as the gateway to what my future is. And I'm looking at a lot of the things that I do by impacting people as being validation and reward enough. But I also have to take a step back and remind myself that, you know what? I did a really good job on that thing, or go do something kind for myself. And for me, sometimes it's just going to the movies and eating popcorn and disconnecting from the world. Like, that is a respite for me. And so you have all these different layers. And when I say, coming back to where we began, that self-love is not enough, self-love is just the beginning. It's just the place where we start. If you can wake up and, again, put your feet on the ground, be good with who you are, look in the mirror and say, I love you, you're winning. You're winning. Like, and especially in comparison to so many people. So keep that in mind and reward yourself and go forward knowing that you are capable. Self-love is this amazing concept that we're throwing around so much these days, but it's not enough. So if you want to seek greatness, if you want to seek change, if you truly want to become the hero of your own story, then you have to step up a little bit more. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode. I appreciate you. I hope so much that you have an amazing day. I'm still putting AMAs out on Instagram. So if you have questions, hit me up there at Michael Unbroken, or you can email me at michael@michaelunbroken. And until next time, my friends, be unbroken. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.